What's it actually like to be a photographer? Grant Scott, a friend and an art director, said the best part of his job was standing in the shadows next to the photographers, watching what they were looking at, and then marvelling at the results. We've had a few people commenting about wanting to see me at work, so we thought, why not? Now, most of the shoots that I do are paid commissions, and it's not really cool to have Fred filming me while I work. But a couple of months ago, I did a portrait for The Observer of someone I've known for almost 30 years. She's also a friend of the channel. You might have seen our interview with her, and she was happy for us to film the whole thing. Her name is Lynn Barber. She's a brilliant, fearless writer, famously funny, famously sharp, sometimes ruthless, and her interviews are legendary. And we did loads together. Björk, Rupert Everett, Jarvis Cocker, Richard E. Grant, David Bailey. I even spent a day bird watching with her, with the comedian Bill Bailey. So on this occasion, you get to watch while I take her picture. Now there's my trusty tripod. I'm setting it up. I'll be shortly attaching the camera. All of this stuff you do almost automatically, but when things aren't going your way, you know, it's difficult to get the camera actually into its little hot shoe quick release mechanism, and you're fiddling around. I always have the camera on the continuous frames rather than a single frame, because there's always a chance you're going to get something you hadn't anticipated. I'd been getting her to smoke loads of cigarettes. Good, I'm going to come in a wee bit.
I mean, I don't want another cigarette.
No, quite. No, I don't want you to kind of. Okay. Do you want to put your cigarette down if you like? That's fine. You'll probably want one in due course.
Yeah.
Go into that corner there.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. Good. Maybe just about where my hand is there. That's good. Actually, let me have your tablet.
Okay.
And then stand up and then sit down so that your jumper is sort of nicely, kind of, yeah. That's what I tend to do, is I get people to stand up and then sit down, because quite often the positions that people take naturally are what you want, rather than something contrived. And then just looking over there slightly, that's good. And then I'm plying her with even more cigarettes. I mean, she's a committed smoker, so I didn't feel too bad about this. Yeah, that's nice. Just as a prop. Okay. That's nice. She's very sort of anti-PC, and so it felt a bit naughty getting her to smoke. But then I kind of didn't enter into it by smoking myself, because I didn't want to sort of leave stinking of cigarettes. And Fred was offered cigarettes as well. All these pictures were taken with daylight. Just one directional light, very similar to Renaissance painting. I had a whole trunk load of equipment outside in the car, but it all just remained in my boot. That's nice. The light's just coming across well here. I'm explaining to Lynn about the Renaissance painting. I'm just going to frame it up. I mean, the colours in her house, as I'm explaining to her, are kind of really good to work with. Primary colours, she's wearing blue, and you've got yellow, and you've got red. Primary, yeah. You've got your blue and your red curtains, and then of course the yellow. We utilised every little space within her kind of front room section.
Fine, I'll look at if Tiger wants to come in.
Yeah, in the garden. It was raining, and I was trying to get her outside because her garden was quite pleasingly overgrown. I see you've sped up the film, Fred. And now I'm sort of photographing her at the other end of this double room, downstairs reception area. So the light's coming from the other side. I don't know why you've got her out of focus, Fred. And I'm back of my bald head is sharp as anything. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Really, it's about putting someone into a space where there's wonderful light and then just recording what happens. Recording that relationship that you had on the day. I'm using a Fuji GFX medium format digital camera. Something that I've done recently is actually use the viewfinder on the back rather than actually looking through the camera. It saves me having to sort of get down low. And also maintain eye contact with my subject. So I'm sort of looking at their face and I'm not actually having my face obscured by the camera. Pictures.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's not. I'm not complaining.
I know you're not. You're very stoic. She's noticed that we've got microphones and she's forgotten that we're recording the whole of the photo shoot.
What's that funny thing around your neck? Is that a light meter?
It's actually a microphone so that Fred's recording what I'm saying.
Okay.
That would be quite good if it was a light meter.
Yeah, well,
Put your hands together how you had them like that. I quite like that. I would have felt extremely stressed if it had been 20 years ago because I was so kind of in awe of her. But as I said, we're friends now, so it felt a bit of a lark. And she'd also professed to be a great fan of the channel. So we had a lot of goodwill and we capitalised on that. Good. Just sit in your chair again. It's interesting to observe, and it has been pointed out by people who aren't in the photography world, how bossy I am, people who've witnessed my shoots. And also I have a sort of shtick that I kind of find myself repeating. But I think we all kind of find that we are tempted to conversationally walk down a well-trodden path. So you sort of say things that work. Withering about, she was really irritating. She was like one of those typical kind of aristocrats. That's it, that's nice. I don't know what we're talking about there. What aristocrat? That's nice, that's good. It's very simple, good. Just one directional lighting coming from the side. And turn your head slightly more that way, just a tiny bit more. And then I'll just sort of get her to move her head, just to sort of balance up the frame. Good, and then head in that position, and then eyes to me from there, and raise your head slightly. Just raise your head a little, that's fine. I mean, the pictures I took right at the beginning were taken while she was looking at her iPad and smoking. She wasn't even aware that I was taking them. And I think one of those pictures is her actual favourite. Keep that position, and then a little bit of a smirk. Good, keep that position, that's great. She doesn't really know how to react to that. But I do tend to get people to smirk rather than smile. And then I'll say something stupid like asking them to laugh hysterically and try and make it look like I've caught some wonderful moment of levity. And now I haven't actually given up on the idea of getting her outside, and it's raining. But then I started to feel that it was actually not a good use of our time. And I was going to lose her because she's not someone who suffers fools. So I think we abandon this shoot shortly and then bring her back in, having succeeded in taking no pictures outside. Yeah, if you're not happy, then the photographs obviously are a record of that. She wasn't happy.
yeah.
I got you. That's a sort of fundamental ethos that I find myself adhering to, is that the portrait is a record of the relationship you have with the person. So it's really important that they feel comfortable. There's a lovely picture here by Gillian Waring, original artwork, and Lynn is very worried about it being intellectually copyrighted, intellectual property of Sarah Lucas, and her being sued. And I'm sort of assuring her that, actually, if a proportion of the photograph contains a painting, but it's a fundamentally new work of art, then it's not something you need to worry about. So illustrators can actually make use of other work, sort of in collage and so on. So I think this is the pictures that we finished off with. Again, just available light coming in through the window. And of course, she has this wonderful relationship with all the young British artists. So it was nice to take a picture that had Sarah Lucas in it as one of them, and reference her kind of love of art. So I think that's the end. So that was Lynn Barber. Lynn's someone who's used to being the one asking the difficult questions. So maybe pointing a camera at her felt like a small act of revenge. Anyway, I liked photographing her. She's a friend. She's honest, complex, and never performs. What you see is what you get. Photography can look quite still from the outside, but inside your head, it's all instinct, light, timing, and hoping something lands. I hope you get a sense of what it's like when I'm working, what I'm looking for, and how I try and get there. If you like this glimpse behind the scenes, let us know and we'll do more. And if you haven't already, check out our interview with Lynn. It's classic Lynn. Sharp, funny, unfiltered, rude. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.